Greetings, sir. We are going to present a market research survey on open elective courses. We are Group 3. Our group members are Anirudh Srinivasan, Kailash, Karthikeyan, Balaji Gautam, Lakshmi Narasimhan, Shreyansh, Jeevan, Abhimanyu, Akhil, Akash. We performed a market survey in Shastra University main campus about the open elective courses. It was performed by asking a set of 30 questions which formed as a part of a survey tool as questionnaire. The responses included both female and male students from various years of study and departments. The purpose of the research was to know the choice and the motivation went into picking up open elective and singling out factors, improvement of which will lead to better open elective experience. The demographics consists of respondents over 200 people, out of which there were 150 male respondents and 50 female respondents. There were four first year students, 36 second year students, 84 third year students and 76 fourth year students. Out of which 8 students were related to the faculty teaching open elective, and we believe that they were indirectly or directly motivated to take open electives by those faculty members. The department-wise distribution here is that we have got 60 computing students, 48 students out of mechanical and 39 out of electrical, and thereby you can see the department-wise distribution. The mention of the OEs. So what we did was we asked students about their first mention, the second mention and the aided mention of the OEs department-wise, what they would like to do. And we came to a conclusion that computing was the most chosen one, followed by the mechanical department and then the MBA department. The second mention was thereby again followed by MBA, mechanical and oriental department, and aided mention was by oriental department, MBA and law. After which Jeevan will take care.
Good evening, sir. We decided to find the reasons to choose a particular OE that a student would consider. We gave the respondents 4 options, and for the purpose of analyzing, what we did is we asked them to prioritize. So the first rank will get 4 points, the second rank will get 3 points, the third rank will get 2 points, and the fourth rank will get just 1 point. And after analyzing it for 200 people, we found that a maximum number of people wanted a relatively free final semester. This may be because already everyone has decided their future options in academics, so maybe they wanted to spend time in that. And it is followed by better option for final year project. And very few number of people told that they have better career options, so that may be the reason for choosing a particular OE. So next we will move on to the influences in choosing a particular OE. We followed the same questioning methodology, and we found that the top rank share is displayed here, and we can find that the interest in subject has the maximum share, and most of the people wanted that, and it is followed by ease in effort required. And it is shocking to know that very few number of people wanted to choose their home related courses. And the next slide will be handled by Kailash.
Good evening, sir. Based on the data, we plotted a graph between the fairness in the present criteria and the likeliness to complete the open elective before the 8th semester. As shown in this, 107 said that the current system in choosing the open elective is fair, and the 93 said that it is not fair. The current system is not fair. And by comparing, 167 of them said that they won't be completing the open elective because the system is not fair. Some of the reasons given by those were the CGPA and SGPA should not be considered, and the student should be awarded based on the interest, and a choice should be given to the interested candidates with the lower CGPA also. Next, we asked a question as how much time will they spend to study open elective courses per week. From the data, we got that the 44 of the students said that they would be spending about 3 hours per week to study for an open elective subject, and 39 of them said that they would spend about 2 hours in studying, and 24 of them said that they would study the day before the exam, and 5 of them said that they won't study at all. We got the data as 3.5 hours and 2.5 hours. We just approximated it to 3 and 2 hours. Next, a question was posed to the students as whether we need to include some open elective based on the core subjects. And the response was that 104 of them said yes, that we should include the open electives based on their core data, the core subjects. And 77 of them said that they are not interested in their core subjects. And we asked whether the students would wish for any other academic work to act as a substitute for the open elective. The response was about equal. The number was equal, so we would like a larger sample size to conclude that the data obtained was true. Next is we asked whether they were satisfied with the experience of the open elective. About 78 of them said that they are extremely satisfied with the open elective, and about 64 of them said that they were unsatisfied with the open elective. The next will be carried on by Abhimanyu.
Good evening, everybody. Now we'll be looking at department analysis. We've used a Likert scale and values ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree to measure responses of the respondents. We're not going to be presenting information from each department because we felt that we've marked out a few departments in which we've noted there are some distinct patterns, whereas in departments such as law and physics we haven't noted anything distinct, or we haven't been able to conclusively derive information from the small sample size of 200 students that we've used. So let's first take a look at the mechanical engineering department. Not surprisingly, as we already have seen, there's a great number of students who have agreed that there's an interest in the subject, and also in some relation a number of students have agreed there's a notable effect of what they study in the field performance. Also, and probably what's most important in this graph is a lot of students agree there are a lot of missing fields or missing courses that the department doesn't provide. Now, given the large interest in mechanical engineering courses, and given that they believe there's a utility in these fields, and given that they all there's a consensus that there are not enough fields provided, if we were to provide more courses to these students, then surely they would be beneficial to them. It's something to keep in mind. Now we're going to look at the computer science open electives. As we've already established, the computer science department was the department with the most number of first mentions. However, what's important to note here is that a lot of the students feel that the courses are similar and there's not much variety in the courses. That is, they think the courses are dull and they're not much different from each other. So it's important to note that if you're going to make changes, it would be good to provide variety in this field. That's it with there's not much else to note with computer science department, as most of the students, there's a general equality with all the responses. Oriental Studies is a department in which most of the students have taken a course. You can see that a lot of them think that it's of good value. A lot of them feel interested in the course. A lot of them have chosen this course because they find it refreshing or it's non-technical matter. However, in our studies we've noted that a lot of the students feel dissatisfied with what the course has to offer. So it's an interesting correlation that the expectation is not met with the reality. Let's move on to MBA, the last of the courses we're going to be focusing on. This is the field in which over 95% of the students have shown an interest in the subject. That is, they've not taken this subject they've not chosen this subject because they believe the syllabus is lighter, contrary to popular belief, but they've chosen it because they have an interest in the subject. And a great number of students have also chosen, they wish to pursue an MBA. So given all this information, perhaps we would like to include courses that prepare them for their higher education studies, or we provide them a greater variety of courses so that they can they feel more satisfied, given that 95% of students have shown an interest in this subject. Now that's all for the individual department analysis. Now Akash will pick it up from here. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. In our survey data, we also propose to look at the subject which students disliked most and favored most. So, according to our survey, we found that Oriental Studies was the most disliked subject out of all. And in our survey, 135 people, to our question, when asked how many people dislike an open elective, 135 answered no, we don't dislike anything, and the 11 people answered that they dislike many subjects. So it's clear from the graph that Oriental Studies has the highest proportion of students that dislike the course as such, and it's also seen that people dislike other courses as well, but not as much as they dislike Oriental Studies. And among the most disliked courses, we have courses like Space Biology, Basics of Sanskrit, Laws of Cricket, Principles of Programming and Design, and Quality Management. And in our survey, we also found many reasons why people dislike the course. Among these reasons, few of them are communication issues with faculty, and the fact that the subject has no future scope, and again, as Abhimanyu mentioned, expectation versus reality does not match, and the subject was just uninteresting as such. Then among the most favorite courses, that is the most popular, we have Laws of Cricket. Laws of Cricket has the highest number of students which like the subject, and after that it's followed by organizational behavior, and again followed by Vedic mathematics, and the other subjects have approximately equal share among themselves. Next, we'll move on to, we had asked also a question in our survey which was about whether any electives can be presented in the future for the students, that is, they can be added as an additional course for the students. And amongst these courses, there were a variety of courses which also include media, music and dance, arts as well. And such variety is a refreshing change for the student, as it's totally differs from the main course stream. And the highest in the graph according to this is games and martial arts, and this had a total number of 55 students which opted that it could be presented in the future. And we also have an inference based on the graph, and the inferences that we have are that among the 200 respondents we had 55, so that is a quarter of the respondents felt that OEs like karate, martial arts that is, and swimming could be included, and also an approximately equal proportion felt that courses in their own field, that is in their own discipline, could be added, like Ruby on Rails, Python programming, Arduino board, and an equal number of students also felt that laws about our country could also be added, as it's necessary in today's world. And according to the graph, we saw that 15 respondents felt that history and literature could be also added, and this comes to a percentage of 7.5. And also when media and graphics, we noticed that a very minor percentage of people felt that media and graphics could be added as an additional OE, although refreshing. So now we'll have Anirudh to take over for us. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about the recommendations. First, using it batch by batch. First, we have the mechanical. We find that a great deal of students have an interest in the mechanical department. However, we find that there is more scope for more infusion of more electives into the mechanical. So we recommend more additional courses. In computer science was a clear majority, as stated by all. Therefore, we have established a link between the ease of the courses and its popularity. 40% agreed that the courses was dull and unvaried. So some diversity would be recommended. Next is Biotech. Many feel that Biotech is the most, that is not interdisciplinary nature. It is the least interdisciplinary nature, and therefore that's why most people from other departments do not take Biotech. Afterwards, we have the Oriental department. Over 50% of the students in the Oriental department have not attended the workshop that are set up by our college. Therefore, this calls into question the quality of the workshops. Therefore, we recommend to improve the quality of the workshops. And then also the MBA department. The MBA department is one in which most 95% of the people have picked it because it's more interesting. And then contrary to popular belief, the lighter syllabus is not the main fact. Therefore, with this in mind, if more courses are infused, then it will be welcome. Afterwards, we have the electrical department. The laser technology was found to be the only course which was truly liked by the students. 3/4 of the students believe that this department was one of the most difficult electives. Therefore, this is something to mind when creation of the electives. Then we have the physics course. People who have taken physics found that enjoy the mathematical aspect of the course. Therefore, we recommend infusion of more number of mathematical courses into physics. Now, I'd like to give it to Abhimanyu.
Okay, so what would we like to change given we had a second chance? First, we'd like to have a larger sample to analyze. We feel that 200 students is simply not enough to make conclusive statements about some of the things that we try to do research on. One of these things were whether it's okay to have project work or paperwork as a surrogate open elective, to take the place of an open elective. I think if I'm not mistaken, the numbers were equally split on yes or no, and we feel that simply isn't enough to properly make a conclusive statement about that. We'd also like to have more course-specific questions. If you take an example like the Oriental Studies group, a large number of students chose their open elective, but a large number of students left dissatisfied with that. So we like specific questions regarding what exactly would you like about Advanced Sanskrit or Abang, which is very popular, which very few people chose, but those who did choose it were very satisfied with it. So we like to ask those particular questions with each course and to really figure out what's really good about a course and what's bad about a course and what can be done to improve it or not. We would also like to add a few more quality-based questions. I'd like to take the example of Oriental Studies again, because it was one of the big aberrations in our analysis that so many students took this course. It's natural when a lot of students take a course, you will have more students disliking the course, but there was a large disparity that we simply couldn't put down to numbers. So we like to have specific quality-based questions aimed at all the students, asking them what specifically you didn't like about this course. Was it the effective communication, the ineffective communication from the part of the teacher? Did you feel that there wasn't enough coursework covered? Did you feel there were not enough materials? Or did you feel it wasn't relevant? So on and so forth. Finally, we like to have the professor's opinion. So far, we've only been able to ask the students what they thought, what open electives they would possibly like. But given that the professors have more knowledge and more experience within a particular field, it would be prudent and sensible to ask them that what do you think could be included in this particular department? Do you think there's room for this particular study or this particular discipline in the future for a student? Can a student benefit from this? Can these two fields be merged together? So on and so forth. So that's another thing we'd definitely like to carry out given we had a second chance. And that's all. Thank you very much for listening.